So we'll call to order the September Finance Committee meeting for September 26th, 2019. And first item on our agenda is a touch on the internal control status. I really think that this is not particularly an issue that we have to deal with on a monthly basis these days. Can you just remind me what the schedule is for the arrival of new staff?
Certainly, our CFO is on board starting October 1st. So we continue to poke away at internal controls.
Mm-hmm.
We did discover an issue relative to insurance certificates on file for the airport and for the industrial park, being hit or miss. Some are there, some aren't. That has been assigned to accounting to correct and should be up to date within a couple, I would say within probably a 3-week time span.
Mm-hmm.
Those policies we need to renew, or?
No, there's, as part of every lease agreement, there's a clause in there that they have to provide us with a certificate of insurance. And the certificate of insurance either was not provided or was outdated.
And so this is partly a function that administration is doing in lieu of having a full-time internal control officer.
Yes, that's correct. This is something that normally the CFO would look at and test and find.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that it is excellent to have an ongoing process to try to address these things, and I appreciate the report. Is there anything else on that particular issue?
One other, it's not an internal control, it's more of a department learning aspect on the accounting side of things.
Yeah.
We are testing charter fueling, specifically want to see on two tail numbers, one in January and one in August. We want to have complete traceability of that, to see it from where we invoiced it, to where it goes to a cent, to where we get the money, to which account it goes into, and how we pay for the Allegiant charter fuel. Disclosing that. There's some questions there, and we want to get a good understanding of how that works.
Mm-hmm. Sam, do you have any other queries on internal control?
I don't, no. Those two will be interesting to follow.
Mm-hmm. Let's move on to the August 2019 financials.
Total in August 2019, total operating revenue is $640,922, and the total non-operating revenue is the $56,140,000, and we have capital grant included for $55,000. And we have total expenses, total operating expenses, $382,000, $153, and non-operating expenses, $121,000 and $336. Net profit and loss is $193,543. And for the bridge side.
Before you move on, that there's one number that automatically generates some questions, and that's the maintenance expenses.
Right.
The credit in there of $23,000. That you'll see further on, but that's due to the payment of Auburn Crane.
Right. Yeah.
And that being charged to a project instead of being charged to the maintenance expense line item.
So that's, I'm sorry, that's an adjustment?
Yes.
That's why it's in there as a credit?
We did adjustment for Auburn Green and Rigging and
Okay.
Auburn Marketing and Logistics when we received payment from OMLC.
Okay.
And we
Freya,
have-
would you tell me which P&L you're looking at right now?
I'm right now in consolidated income statement, but actually is appear, this consolidated actually is appear in the marine terminal, I think. Yes, in the Port of Auburn Marine Terminal, $50,634.
Mm-hmm.
Maintenance expense, and that's the adjustment. We did adjustment for Auburn and Crane and
Yeah.
Rigging and Auburn Marketing and Logistics when we received payment from OMLC. And the other adjustment we did, other direct expenses showing $1,480 negative credited for Augsburg marketing and logistic adjustment for mooring terminal travel expense.
Mhm.
It is some kind of adjustment. Bridge revenue slightly in the bridge. Continuously increased in August by 1.80, almost 2%. As a full impact of toll increase, building rental income increase, as you know, the new tenants, SUNY and the tenants raise increased by the end as of July of 2019. In the month of August, Augsburg Bridge and Port Authority renewed all insurances from August 2019 till the next year, July 20th. Almost the same cost as we have, insurances decreased by 1.15%. It's almost the same, some are slightly increases, some are slightly down, but total net is 1.15, slightly decrease.
Good.
In August.
Could I just interject there?
Mhm.
This one is important because on two of these insurances, I believe, we're on the second year of locked-in premium from 2 years ago. So going forward, these things will increase and probably increase substantially because we're seeing the, what do you want to say, the last of the benefit of doing a 2-year deal.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
It does.
In the bridge side, we have this high maintenance expense due to the painting and repair cost. We did the painting in the August. Industrial park is nothing much significantly changes in the industrial park in the month of August. And the airport side, as you know, the new SkyWest, new essential services with the SkyWest increases all the charges. The GSC storage rentals, SkyWest, ES, apron charges, terminal charges, and office rent. OBPA received $10,055 grant income for the terminal area plan for the airport. In August, high professional fees, contract expense due to the high airport security LEO expense for 2 months. In the month of August, we received 2-month LEO invoices. I just netted out 27,450 for July and August.
Why didn't we,
We didn't have any expense in June, and we didn't receive any invoices from them. And in the month of August, we received 2 months,
okay,
July and August.
but I'm just wondering why in, capital grant income, did we anticipate, at least it's in the current budget, that we'd have 178,000 under that?
Well, some of these you're seeing, for example, we just had 3 projects. Short answer is timing. The long answer is we have 3 projects with the FAA.
Mhm.
We have not received any bills yet, so therefore we have not paid them, therefore we've not been reimbursed.
Okay.
So you'll see that increase substantially in the coming months.
It's more of we anticipated it, but it just didn't come out that way, as of yet.
As of yet, yes, because the new federal fiscal year starts October 1.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
In the Port of Augsburg, activity was down for the entire month of August. I think as the result of the wind turbine project mostly completed or almost completed. And OBPA received $44,433 grant income for dock expansion project. And maintenance expense showing the credit for $50,624, as we did adjustment for Auburn and Crane and Ringing and Augsburg marketing and logistic when we received payment from OMLC. Other direct expenses showing 1,480 for Augsburg marketing and logistic adjustment for mooring terminal travel expense.
Did I see, I know you had in your highlights, you mentioned Auburn Crane, and going through the accounts payable report, I see we still owe them. I thought all of our expenses for the windmill project, we had already
paid Auburn Crane all the way up through, all back things through August 1st.
So this is just for the month of August.
Right,
Is that the only expense we have left for the windmill projects?
There are a couple stragglers on the updated report as of this afternoon. The accounts payable aging shows there are 4 invoices outstanding for Auburn Crane.
Mhm.
There are a couple other stragglers in here, but the majority of things have been taken care of.
All right, so actually, we haven't paid off all expenses for the windmill project.
Correct. Correct.
Would you say they're total under 75,000?
I want to add them up, but I believe they're more in the neighborhood of $50,000-$60,000. There's some equipment rentals and things in there that we still owe for.
I just thought I had heard some other meeting that we had everything paid for, but maybe that was just through the 1st of August and not the end.
Yeah, that was through the 1st of August.
Okay.
If you have any question, please let me know.
I did.
There may be some simple answer to some of my questions, and so just straighten me out if there are. It seems to be a tremendous increase in accounts receivable from the end of the closing at the end of March to now. I think that's from the consolidated,
One of the reasons
Balance
is we
sheet.
merged the border station together. If you see on the this
Yes.
side, we have $90,000 and $122, and we consolidated border station and
Yes.
OBPA. $90,000 from the border station comes to the right side.
did you say 90,000?
$90,122.
Yeah.
So one of the merging is like, is a bigger factor in the financial statement. Showing a good number.
Let me tell you the numbers I see that are confusing.
Sure.
I'm looking at the balance sheet
Okay.
and comparing year-to-date prior year and current year-to-date. Actually, I'm not sure what the title of the column should be. On the right-hand side, there's a column titled Audited 18-19, which I assume is the end of the year,
Right, this
Mhm.
is
end
last
of the
year.
fiscal year. It says 67,000 in accounts receivable.
Yes.
And now it says 534,000 for current accounts receivable.
So that's what is stating in account receivable side.
Is that money that is owed to us for the work on the windmill project?
Would be for that account receivable.
I don't like to guess. This looks like right at the receivable
Receivable
report
bill.
period. So receivable report as of 8/31 showed 600, I'm gonna round for sake
Sure.
of discussion, 608,000 due. Pretty good on collections, less than, what do you wanna say, 98% of it looks like it's current to 60 days
That's right.
at that time period. And some of the larger items in there, but with me here just a moment, I'll flip through it. So a lot of small things there. There's a lot of activity in the North American Stevedoring, NASCO.
I've seen it.
It's a big
I
one.
don't have it printed. Is this a copy? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sky West is a good sized one in there.
Why such a contrast from 5 months ago to now?
I think the Skywest, we are increasing the revenue. I see the difference.
Well, SkyWest is
Well-
$41,000.
The big, I guess the big story there, if you were looking at it, is probably the activity in the wind turbine project. We pushed that much faster to try and get there's a couple things we did. We pushed that much faster to try and get the revenue out of that project.
Right.
And also, again, this is on the payable side, not the receivable side, but we squared up with a lot of the vendors sooner and faster.
Mhm. Well, I saw that there were some cases where we made two payments over the recent month. For instance, North American Stevedoring shows a receivable of $376,000.
Yes.
And that's just part of the windmill project, and it's at a reasonable and normal collection period. It's not old.
Well, normally though, you wouldn't see as many of them and all at once. That's, that was, I guess that's what's atypical here.
Yeah. But this all makes sense to you, Wade?
It does,
Okay.
it does.
So out of that, well, let's go by the number that's here, the 534,000, we're looking at. The other one here that Chris has, 607,000, whatever it is. How much of that would we be receiving within the next 30 days ordinarily?
Probably, I think we will see the difference, probably we see $73,379 already. So, so this month OBPA receivable is $534,358.
Running into September?
Running for the August, and September is as of August,
Okay.
so,
Just that if there's 300 and some thousand revenue that's due from the window project, and we receive that in September, and our accounts receivable for October would be running low, a couple $100,000 at the most.
I don't know, I'm not good at projecting accounts, the payables balance going forward. But, you know, we tried to keep it around 1.6, 1.7 million, we're still in that, on the AP side.
I'm thinking about receivables.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm trying to, you know,
And
balance.
we're going through and testing too, to make sure that we're billing for everything, and we're finding some things there that haven't been billed for, and we're getting those out the door.
Mhm.
Okay. Just trying to look at, you know, kind of a balancing of accounts receivable as it flows over a budget year. I mean, accounts payable, we know, again,
Yeah.
it fluctuates when we have a project on support, but it just seemed, as you said, you caught the accounts receivable seemed to be higher than you would ordinarily see.
Now, you'll probably see the same thing when you look at the September numbers, and I'll give you an example, with the salt chips coming in,
Oh,
the
okay.
tail end of this week, those will get billed out Monday, so that in September's receivables, and that's, you know, think of it as a year's worth of salt
Right,
in 1 month.
Mhm.
So
okay.
you'll see a similar uptick in the receivable.
Well, I think that this is explained to my satisfaction, so that it makes sense. It'll be interesting for us to keep watch on it. It looks as if, once the uneven activity, which we so much welcome at the port,
Absolutely.
once that's resolved, it's apt to settle down in the area of a couple $100,000 in receivables that are predictable and recurring for a few months. Then back at it again next spring. That covers my questions. Sam, do you have questions?
Well, I should know this, but I just lost it, I guess. The OPEB liability, is that retirement?
OPEB.
OPEB, yes.
Yes.
Isn't it? Okay,
Yes.
okay.
you do once a year adjustment. and
Right,
usually normally the-
I thought it was. The border station, I was wondering, if I remember the agreement, John, maybe you can help me out on this. maybe it's there, maybe you've got it somewhere, maybe not. As we go through the year, have we set aside funds for any kind of extra work there that we need to do, or not extra work, I should say, any kind of work that needs to be done? I mean, you know, sometimes repairs come up, do we have money set aside?
No, we don't encumber cash for specific uses. They just, as something comes up, it comes in for a bill.
Hmm. I need to think about that. I'll come back to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
What I'm worried about, at some point in time, if something happens to that building, I don't know, let's say an air conditioner goes up. I mean, I'm not talking an air conditioner like that. A roof conditioner,
Sure.
Steve, what would that run? Close to 100,000?
Not quite that, probably the
Did two last year.
two last year were roughly 40 all in.
Yeah.
And I think there's two that we're obligated to repair, they're part of leasehold improvements.
Oh,
I
okay.
think that might be what, is that kind of,
They aren't
That's-
insignificant.
John and I were
expenses
talking about
when
it
they
the
come
other
up.
day.
That's, yeah, I think when John presented the lease, some of it was in there, that we needed to make sure we do certain things as we go through
For the initial, yeah, they had a punch list of things they
Right.
wanted
Okay,
done at
alright.
the beginning of that. And then Steve
put it into 3 years.
put it into 3 years to
Okay.
lessen the burden on us, and he's addressing.
But do we have a
the first
separate line? We're not actually putting funds away for any kind of repairs, though, right? Is that?
No, we do not, we don't do that on any of them, it's just the general, single accounts. Steve, one thing, that brings up a good point, one thing I would like to do for the facilities committee, let's add that as a standing item, because that's something that the facilities committee would be interested in seeing. on a
Where we are
regular
with
basis.
leasehold improvement?
Yeah, so in other
Sure.
words, we've got 3 years' worth of stuff to do, how are we tracking versus
Yeah,
what we're
so
committed to?
basically a checklist of the promises that I made
Exactly,
or to GSA.
exactly, and that way we
And
talk
I have
about
that
it for
because
3
when
minutes
I was
each
talking to
meeting,
John about
everybody's
that.
on the same page, so.
But there was some, in the first year, basically, we committed in dates and all of that, so I can do that. Would you like to see that?
Yes,
Okay.
I would still prefer we set money aside. Well, we can probably.
Good. Well, I think that it's clear that we need to carry through on our obligations with that lease
Yeah.
in order to maintain the long-term favorable lease
Right,
to the benefit of
absolutely.
the authority. That said, there are a lot of downsides to encumbering any money anytime. That means you hold off for a little while paying another vendor.
Yeah, right. That's all I had.
Yep. I need to look at the agenda again. Are there any other matters that should come before the committee this afternoon?
There is a brief need for an executive session regarding the asset valuation of a building.
Okay. Sam, do you have anything else before we
No, I'm
go
all
into
set, Mr.
executive
Chairman.
session? Anything else from Stephanie or
No.
John or? Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
There's no resolution or anything, right?
Yep.
So I make a motion, we go into executive session to discuss a,
All right, and I'll second that, so all in
what was the
favor?
reason again?
Of the negotiations of a financial instrument.
Okay.